What is up, all forms of social media? James Joseph Edward Jessberger Jr., but please call me Jimmy for short. Thank you for tuning in to the second episode of the Lions Roar podcast. This is my new podcast where I just talk about whatever the hell I want, and whatever comes out of my mouth just comes out of my mouth, and it's not going to be edited. It's not going to be filtered. It'll be edited, the beginning and the end, but the middle, wherever my train of thought goes, if there's long pauses, then just we'll deal with the silence together and we'll make it as awkward as possible, probably. But this episode is already going to probably be pretty awkward in a good way. Today, I will be talking about my weight loss journey and how currently, before I weighed 237 pounds, today I weigh 176 pounds. I've lost 61 pounds over the last 8, 9, 10 months, something like that. It's been less than a year. I know that. Since May 6th of 2020, and today is the 1st of January. It's actually the second day. It's 1 in the morning. You're probably going to be like, how did you record this and get it up so fast? It's because it's super late right now and I'm recording it. But I wanted to get this done. I was super happy. I'm loving the daily videos kind of thing. So let's get straight into this and let's talk about my weight loss journey so far. Man, I had no idea that going into this, all of this craziness would happen. For those of you who don't know, which is everybody, besides the people who know me personally, I have always been overweight. I have always dealt with people calling me fat. I've always dealt with being called the bigger guy or the bigger kid or the fatter kid. In most friend groups, I was the bigger guy. And to put it point blank, I was usually the bigger guy because I'm in the performing arts. Most people around me in the performing arts are usually skinny. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Most people in the performance arts are going to look their quote-unquote best. So what was kind of the driving force behind me wanting to lose all this weight? Well, first of all, I have always been into fitness. I know that's hard to believe sometimes when people go like, you were into fitness and you were that big? Yeah. I have been studying fitness actually since 2011, I believe, or 2010. Whenever I was a sophomore in high school, 2010, I believe. And it started off with the easy things. Like I was always overweight. I was eating fast food every day. I wasn't checking my calories. I was sometimes eating one big meal a day and not doing what I was supposed to do healthily, or burning the calories I needed to burn a day. But I got to a point where I was just fucking done. I was done as a sophomore in high school. I wanted to be prettier. I wanted to get the girls, and I wanted to be a weightlifter and stuff like that. So in 2010, I started running every single day with my parents. We actually run at a cemetery close to our house. And then we have a weight system at home, and we have a bench and a bar and weights. And from my sophomore year of high school up until my senior year of high school, I would work at, the ending semester of sophomore year of high school. A lot of people don't know this from high school, actually, unless you're really close to me or unless you saw me really close up. But the ending semester of sophomore year of high school, up until my senior year of high school, I would work out twice a day. Now, that was a point where I was getting thin, but I wasn't binge eating. I wasn't being bad with my weight. I was just overworking out at that point, and I got pretty thin. It eventually, my sophomore year going into junior year, I started working out less. It wasn't as strenuous and as crazy and all that types of stuff, but I did work out twice a day for a good year and a half. I would run in the morning before school, and then I would work out or lift at night. And on top of that, I had marching band, I had play rehearsal, I had choir, I had concert band things. I had all this stuff every single day, and it helped. And I was only eating really 1 or 2 meals a day, and I started losing the weight because I had some kind of caloric deficit going on. For those of you who don't know, a caloric deficit is just your body needs a certain amount of calories to keep your weight what it is, and essentially not changing my eating but working out more, I was actually burning more calories than I needed. So I was losing weight, essentially. Then, once I graduated from my senior year of high school, I went into college, and on campus, you can, as a student, use the gym for free. As long as you have your ID card, you can go into the university gym and you can work out. That's where I started getting a little weird about working out. I had some emotional issues, etc., with a relationship that I was in, and that relationship was really abusive. It made me, I wasn't big enough. I was too small. It was all that types of stuff that I hated, and it kind of forced me into the person that I was. And then after I, would run and work out, and I was somewhat skinny, but somewhat like I wasn't skinny, but I worked out enough just to have a little bit of muscle mass on me, and I wasn't eating right, so I was like working out and building muscle, but I wasn't like losing weight at the same time. It was a dirty bulk, if ever there was one for me. Then I don't know when, but after college, 2016 was probably like the thinnest I've ever been at the height and weight and stature I've ever been. Because I was out in this outdoor drama that I super love, and I miss so many people out there from Tecumseh, the outdoor drama. You were just on your feet 24/7. You had to cook for yourself. We had to do shows every day. There was no like fast food close to us. You had to have a car if you wanted to eat fast food. And I did a pretty good job. I would say, looking at my body from pictures back when I was performing, I was probably like a good 190 to like 200 pounds back then. I wasn't like as thin as I am now. Trust me, I would have remembered being this thin, but close not. Then after Tecumseh, I had so many things going on, and I was kind of like rewarding myself for doing good things. And that's not how I see it in life anymore. You should be rewarding yourself by eating the sufficient amount of food that you need and not overindulging yourself. It came to a point where, if you do not already know this, I professionally mascot. I don't know if you would consider, say, still now just because of quarantine, but I would professionally mascot. I would be on TV, or I'd be on the radio, or I'd be in an event, and like afterwards I'd be so fucking starving that I'd be like, there's a place in PA and on the East Coast and in Florida now apparently. It's called Wawa, and I would just go to Wawa and I would order a lot of food. I wanted to say copious, but I'm not even sure that's the right phrasing. I would order tons of food. I would get a gallon of iced tea. I would get like a chicken sandwich. I would get meatballs and macaroni and cheese. And that was like my college meals too, that I was doing this. And I was eating Reese's all the fucking time now. And then when I wasn't getting my own food and I was just hungry and my family was ordering out, they were ordering out from like, I would ask for like Pizza Hut, or I'd order like, not McDonald's. I swore off McDonald's. And that's the other thing too. Since my like sophomore year of high school, I haven't had water in like years. I mean, water. Wow. I haven't had soda in like years. So you would think me not drinking soda, I would have lost weight, right? Well, I substituted soda for iced tea after a while, and I was just eating so much calorie dense food. Like, it wasn't that I was eating a lot, it was just that I was eating so much food that was bad for me that it just added to the calories and such like that. And then came the fateful day around that time too. But I've had a few different times in my life I was like, this is the last time I'm going to lose all the weight. This is the last time I'm going to be better about myself. And then recently it hit me like a ton of bricks. I went to the doctors about a few months before I decided to actually do my end-all be-all of the weight loss journey. I went to the doctors, and they weighed me with clothes on at like 250 pounds. And I know I've been heavier weight than that before, but this was the first time I was like seeing it on the scale. I was at the doctor's. I was like, whoa, I am so close to being 300 pounds. And just to put into perspective, I am a 5'7" male. I am not meant to be over like 200 pounds unless I'm super muscular like He-Man or something. And I knew it wasn't muscle. I knew I had a lot of fat on me. And then I was off and on, like, working out here and there. And then something happened where quarantine was happening and I just didn't feel good about my body anymore. And I almost kind of like gave up. I remember there was a night my family had gotten Pizza Hut or something and I was eating. I swear to God, I remember this like it was yesterday. And it makes my mouth salivate, but I'm not going to go back to it because I'm so happy where I'm at now and I'm on a schedule and I'm happy with my schedule that I have now. It actually makes me more hungry being on the schedule that I'm at now. And I couldn't even handle the food I was eating before. But they ordered Pizza Hut and a family-sized order of wings that comes in those bowls that was like 20 plus wings or something. And the wings are huge, like that big. Well, probably even bigger than that, like that big. I would eat that by myself. And I started realizing, like, man, I indulge myself so much that I haven't even cared about what my body looks like. I haven't even cared about being healthy. So, a month before May 6th, I had decided that I needed to change myself. And I know a ton of people would just be like, well, Jimmy, why didn't you say physically you changed yourself? I knew deep down in every fiber of my body, I needed to change myself holistically. Not everything, not to be a completely different person, because I genuinely do not think you can do that in life anyway. But I knew emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, I needed to fucking change. I was tired of living this lie of saying that I was kind of fit, that I was athletic, I did all these things, when I had way more potential in me that I would find out now than I have never known before. And I have beaten so many boundaries that I never thought that I would get to. So, I do not recommend this to anybody. I actually might need to put a trigger warning in here. I do not recommend this to anybody. No one should be doing this. But I need to be honest with you, and I need to be honest with myself. And this is what it came to for me. I told myself one night late, I believe it was around April of 2020, I told myself, literally and figuratively, my life is not worth living if I am not happy and healthy with my body. So I made a goal with myself. I told myself that my life was not fucking worth it unless I was healthy or at the goal weight that I wanted to do. No one should be doing this. And I say this because I am at a way better point I've ever been in my life. Way better than I've ever felt in my entire life. In April, I had made a bet with myself, and not many people know this, and I'm putting it out there for the internet to learn from my mistakes. I told myself in April that if I had not lost and got to the weight of 180, which, by the way, I am 176, I did it way earlier than a year. I told myself in a year, if I was not 180 pounds, I would end the life that I could not fulfill. And it hurt. It seriously hurt thinking about that. But in my life, I needed a drive. I needed a goal. I needed something that would push me. I needed something that would make me work. Because in the long run, I know that I don't want to end my life. I know I want to live life. There's so many great things in life. And I knew that I wanted to perform. I knew that I wanted to be on YouTube. I knew that I wanted the fame and recognition that I deserve, to help people, to do all the things that I want to do, like all the other creators I follow, all the performers I follow. But it wasn't worth it unless I was happy and loved my own body. So I told myself May 6th of 2020 is the first day of my weight loss journey. And by May 6th of 2021, I must be at 180 pounds or under 180. And just to give you a perspective, I did that in like 8 months or less. I did it with flying colors. I passed the test because I knew that I could finally do it at this point. I made such a big goal for myself that I knew that I could do it. And this was the last straw. This is the only thing I needed to worry about. And now I have my weight to worry about in a good way. And I have other things on my plate that make me happy that I want to do. That's why I finally decided, fuck it. Do whatever the hell you want. If you want to make YouTube videos, if you want to do porn, if you want to do anything that you want to do, you do it, because you've got one life to live, and this is the way I wanted to live it. Now, I will not lie, I still do have weight to lose, and I'm in a way better spot. I've opened up to my mother, to my sister, and I already knew going into this that I needed to go to therapy again, just because I believe everybody needs therapy anyway. But I knew that losing a ton of weight, I would need the emotional side to all this. I would need to be better mentally and emotionally as I went through this. Now, the weight loss journey. I know we got very serious and very emotional. I'm not usually like this. People who know me very, very well are going to watch this video and they're going to be like, I never knew Jimmy had this side. Yeah, hey, I've been dealing with a lot of mental issues for my entire life, and I don't speak about them. I have a very good actor's face and a very good mask. But on top of that, for those of you who are wondering and wanted this podcast for this main reason, Jimmy, how did you lose the weight? Why, good human being? Let me tell you how I did it. Maybe I should have put this in the beginning of the video instead of after that, because maybe this would have been better for people to watch through and then understand this. But we'll let it roll, because that's what my podcast is about, right? It's about me talking about other stuff. Okay, so let me start with, if you are starting a weight loss journey or a weight gain journey, I know it's hard to say this. I know it's very difficult to hear this. You need to be ready to do this. You need to be ready to do this. You need to be ready to be and do these goals that you set for yourself. For me, my two main goals were every day I wanted to work out and every day I wanted to eat in a caloric deficit. Those were the two rules I made for myself. If you know going into this weight loss journey or weight gain journey, you will make excuses, you will tell yourself you are okay, you will back off from the things that you want to do, you will overeat, you will indulge, I would not recommend doing a weight loss or weight gain journey, because you are obviously not ready. This needs to be your breaking point. This needs to be you working on it every single day, because this is the thing that you want to do and you want to be healthy. Second thing, I know this is very hard for people. I barely have one as it is, and I know some people would fight me about that, but you need a support system. You need people around you. And I know that there are some people who genuinely live by themselves. They don't have family. They necessarily don't have friends that they're very close with. You need, if not anybody else, yourself. You need to hold yourself accountable, because yes, I've had my mother, my sister, and a few friends to fall on. But in the long run, I have forced myself to be the main support system I made for myself. Do you understand that? Okay, now we can move on to the nitty-gritty. This is the main thing about weight loss. This is the main thing about weight loss or weight gain. Your body feeds and keeps its fat index, or the amount of fat it has on its body, or the energy that it stores, through this term called calories. All you need to know is that a car needs gas, correct? Your body needs food. The way you measure food is calories. So let's just think of calories as your gas. You fill your car up with good gas, right? Well, most of us fill it up with okay gas, but you need gas to move your car. What happens if you don't have any gas in your car? It won't move, right? What happens if you put too much gas in your car? It will be too powerful, or it will explode, or it won't run because it's filled with too many things. Imagine your food or your calories as the gas of your body. Your body is a car. The gas that you fill it with is the calories that you need. Now, a ton of people fall into this category, and I'm going to explain calorie deficit, and then I'm going to explain it as the car way. All a calorie deficit means is that you eat under the food that you daily need. So, for me, when I started this weight loss journey, I would recommend doing it this way. Let me explain this first. I would recommend anybody who is going to lose weight or is going to gain weight, eat normally. Eat how you normally eat, but track the calories that you are eating for every single meal. Everything you eat normally. Even if you want to eat a little bit more or a little bit less, track everything you eat. And then from there, if you would like to gain weight, add more protein. Very specific on that because this is a little bit different. If you want to gain mass, eat more protein and also eat more calories, but protein is probably number one. If you would like to lose weight, you will also eat more things in protein than anything else. But if you are trying to lose weight, you will subtract calories from it as you are going. Now, to give you an example, your TDE is your calculator of how many calories you need a day, how much your body needs for energy. Your body naturally burns calories anyway, but the amount that you need in a day is how much you can move around, is how much you can burn the weight off without doing anything. Now, could I have done this weight loss journey without working out and just allowing the calories to speak for themselves? Sure. Yeah, I probably could do that right now. But I decided to make it a little bit harder on myself because I know I could do it. I knew I was dedicated at this point, and I don't necessarily actually need that much food. I actually found out I don't need that much food to actually work throughout the day and to work out and such like that. Ooh, my phone went off. So, when you are tracking your food, my example, sorry, train of thought just went out the window. So this is back to the train of thought. For a 5'7" male, and it asks you all these weird questions. It's like, what's your starting weight? What weight do you weigh today? What weight do you want to be? What's your BMI? Which I didn't know my BMI at this point, but I kind of know what my BMI is now because of the TDE scale it gives you as you go down. I'm pretty close to my actual ending goal, which is amazing. Thank you, everything. But when I first put in the weight that I wanted to be, and I told it on the thing, even though I lied, I was like, for my TDE, it says, how frequently do you work out? Because it's going to factor in like how much you work out. Do you work out 1 day a week? Do you work out no days a week? Do you work out 7 days a week? Do you work out 5 days a week? It gives you random numbers. Are you active? Are you, just a normal person that walks around? Are you just a couch potato? It'll ask you those questions. For me, I made it harder on myself, and I work an office job, which means I think it's like office or sedentary. I put in like sedentary, like means you don't move a lot. And I just wanted to like have those extra calories that if I work out, it's like, oh, well, I ate a little bit today. I could work it off because I put in sedentary and it didn't know that I was going to like work out. But I don't recommend that to people. Put in what you actually do. Like if you work out 4 days a week, you work out 4 days a week. But for me, I was 237 pounds. I put in that I'm sedentary because at that point I wasn't really working out. I just wanted to get back into running or to working out or to lifting. And I put in I wanted to be my lowest weight, and then I put in sedentary. Like I wasn't moving that much. It told me back then, which I was eating way over this because now I've been tracking food and I understand where my food comes from and what it looks like and stuff like that. It told me I had to eat 2,500 calories a day. Now, to put this into perspective, there are some fitness people in YouTube culture and just in people that are famous that eat. I know some women that eat more than I do. They eat like 3,000 calories a day. They eat 4,000 calories a day, which 4,000 is a little high. But there are guys I know that will eat 5,000 calories a day and still lose weight because they are just that active or they're that muscular or something like that. I knew coming into this weight loss journey that I did not have muscle on me. I didn't have any extra weight besides the fat on me, besides like my bones and my blood and all the DEXA scan stuff that it would give me. But losing my train of thought left and right. I wanted to make it harder for myself, and I knew that 2,500 calories was actually the food that I needed to maintain or to lose, well, to maintain the weight that I was at. So just as an example, to stay at 237 pounds, I needed to eat, which actually meant I was actually pretty active because I was definitely eating more than that in a day. I needed to eat 2,500 calories a day to stay at 237 pounds. I asked the app, I asked TDE Scale, I said, how much would I need to lose to be 10% body fat and to lose the weight that I wanted? It told me that I would need to eat 2,000 calories or less, because the normal thing is if you have a certain weight that you want to be and you know what your standard weight is to eat for that calorie intake, you usually subtract 500 calories. Because 500 calories is a nice round number and you don't have to like run it off. Like usually when you work out, you burn anywhere from 300 to like 700 calories if you're really working out. But you can also burn off just 100 if you just do like a 10-minute walk or something. It doesn't need to be crazy. Like you don't need to do an hour of cardio a day. I hate when people are like, I need to do this to lose weight. It's like, no, you just need to watch what you're eating. That's the main issue that everybody really needs to understand. So I looked at that number and I went, well, what if I made it harder on myself? Which I don't recommend to anybody. So what I did was, and I'm still losing weight and I'm still happy, and I still, if I was genuinely starving every single day, I would be like, okay, maybe I need to rethink this 1,000-calorie deficit I made on myself. But I eat 2,000 calories a day. And then on top of that, I at least burn 500 calories on the treadmill every single day. I used to lift. I used to work out, like lifting and doing like mascotting and stuff like that. But I kind of put that on hold because I just wanted to lose all the weight. And the best way that I needed to lose the weight was I just wanted to do fun forms of cardio, or back then I thought horrible forms of cardio. So what did I do for working out? I used to, back in my day, now I do again religiously, but I used to run with my parents, as I said before. I used to run at the cemetery. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like walking. Walking's pretty easy. Well, let me just tell myself that I can walk an hour a day. So for, I think, like a month or two, I was running every day. I mean, not running, sorry. Now I run every day for an hour, or more, or less, but I usually run an hour or more. And trust me, I didn't get there in a short amount of time. I did that over progression. Trust me, you'll hear how I got to that. But I was pretty good at the progression. I was actually surprised what I did. But every day I would walk for an hour. And I asked my mom to walk with me, and we walk at the house. We walk up at the cemetery. We made life easier for me. You know, we just walk outside. And thankfully, when I started this weight loss journey, it was the summer. So I could just go outside and have fun with that. Or it was the end of spring into summer kind of thing. You know, May, June, July, August, beginning of summer then. Which was also an interesting time to start my weight loss journey because I was shirtless in the pool. And it was like, oh, I'm now paying attention to everything I do with my body. But one of my best friends, who is one of my rocks now, thankfully, she is an avid runner. She is a very big fitness person, just like me. I have all the knowledge. I've been researching fitness since 2011. I've been watching YouTube videos since 2011. I've been an avid workouter and watching people and all those types of stuff. I meant to say that in the beginning, but I just never applied the knowledge. And now I was applying the knowledge that I knew. Like, I knew that I had to eat under a caloric deficit, like to lose weight. I knew that for years. I just never put it into practice. And some people want to do it. They just don't understand how to do it. And I was the opposite. I knew how to do it. I just never did it, kind of thing. So back in college, I actually ran a 10K and I sucked at it. I was the worst in my age class. There was only 4 of us in my age class, and 2 of my best friends, or friends, I guess now I don't really talk to one of them, but like got first and second place in our age group. And then some random guy I didn't even know who looked a little heavier than me, no offense, like got 3rd place. And I just sucked. Like I was like last. I think I was one of the last runners too for the 10K. So I told one of my best friends, Sam. I said, "Hey Sam, like, you know, thinking back on that 10K, I always told myself I wanted to be better. I wanted to be able to run like super easy. Like I wanted to be, I told her my main goal was I wanted to run a 10K every single day. It didn't start off with that goal, but I told her I wanted to just be a better runner because I knew I sucked at the 10K. So her goal for me and told me was, well, how far can you run? How fast can you run? And I said, I genuinely don't know. And I think I'm the heaviest. I was definitely way heavier. I think it was one of the heaviest I was at my size and age I've ever been. And I know I've been heavier before, but I told her, I'm like, Sam, I don't even know if I can walk more than an hour. Like, I don't know if I can like actually run for more than 5 minutes. So she told me this golden rule. She told me, whatever you run, you must walk. So whatever you run for 30%, you must run. Messing this up completely. And she said it so eloquently. Whatever you run is 30%. You must walk 70% of whatever you run. So I told Sam the first day, I ran 5 minutes. So that means I have to walk 15 minutes. Because it was on a 20-minute kind of like 100% scale. I didn't want to do more than 20 minutes in a day. If I could run 20 minutes, then I would have been doing more than that, obviously, right? But as I was running, it fucking sucked. It was horrible in the beginning. But it was horrible, but it was also like the best adrenaline rush I had in a while. I was like, wow. This is what I've been missing. Like, I have not ran like this in a while. And I used to do sprint training, like this weird sprint training where you would run for 30 seconds and then jump off for 30 seconds and then run for 30 seconds and jump off for 30 seconds. I did a lot of that soccer sprint training I saw at university because I loved it. I kind of loved that, like, I can run super fast. Let's see how I can run fast. And I used to be able to run a 12. I could definitely run faster than that now. But I could run a 12 on the treadmill at Planet Fitnesses before, but only for 30 seconds. Now I could definitely run a 12 for way longer, but I don't want to test that because I'm already doing super well with what I'm doing. So I also forgot to say the speed. When I first started running, I would always walk on a 3 on the treadmill. That was always my standard. Like if I could not walk a 3 or a 4 on the treadmill, I knew I was failing at treadmilling. So I had to get better at like walking. Thank God I was still at a 3 at walking. It wasn't like that bad. So I asked her, I was like, well, what's a good running speed to start with? And she was like, well, what do you feel okay with? And I said, well, a 4 still feels like I'm kind of walking. So I would rather it be like a light jog, even if I'm not like, but back then a light jog felt like I was like sprinting. Like it was that bad. I was that big. So for a week, I ran 5 minutes. And then I would walk 15 minutes. The run was at a 5 speed on the treadmill. Now, I don't remember exact week to week. I could tell you month to month after a while. But every single week from that week on, I would add, I think, 5 minutes. So the first week I did 5 minutes. The second week I did 10 minutes. So then that would mean I would do 10 minutes running and then 10 minutes walking. Then I think I did 15 minutes and then I would walk 5 minutes. And then I finally got to 20 and I told my friend Sam, I'm not like walking anymore. What do I do when I'm done running? And she's like, oh, we can start making you like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to like, do you want to be an endurance runner? Do you want to be a sprinter? Like, what do you want to do? What's your goals? That's when I finally started saying like, you know, I think I want to be more endurance. Back then I was like, I think I want to be more endurance. And I'm still kind of on the fence about it because I can go either way now. I'm pretty proficient at both, even though I'm not like amazing, but I'm okay at both. Some people would look at me like I'm crazy because I'm running 6 miles without breaking a sweat or taking a break at all, which is funny for me now. And I'm running pretty fast. Tomorrow I'm actually going to, today, Wednesdays and Fridays I run 6 miles. I'm going to try and see how far, I want to see if I can run a 7 for 4 miles straight and see what happens. So that's going to be interesting. But to get back to the point, so I finally started running 20 minutes. And I was losing weight. I was doing pretty well. And then I told her, okay, well, then we started talking about like training and like what I would do for a schedule. And I said, well, I just want to be able to run like a mile straight. So that's what I did. For a week, I ran a mile. Then I think a week and a month later, no, even less than that. I think like a month straight, I did a mile. Then I did 2 miles for like half a month. Then I did 3 miles. When I finally got to 4 miles straight, and by the way, this is all on a 5 speed. When I finally got to 4 miles, that's when I started feeling like the break. I was like, oh God, I need to break. So 4 miles, I think I was on for a month and a half. And then I did 4.5 miles. Then I did 5 miles. Then I did 5.5 miles. And I finally got to 6 miles. And if you did not know, like most people in the world don't, I think, because we're not all runners and 10Kers and stuff like that. A 10K is a 6.2 mile, which means you have to run 6 miles and then a 0.2 of a mile. I finally was running 6 miles out of 5. And by the way, if you're running a 5 on the treadmill, and by the way, I wasn't taking breaks, right? I was just running the miles and then I was done. I was running a mile in 12 minutes. Which now looking back, I was like, man, like that's not too great. Like, but back then I was like, I'm running a mile in 12 minutes. Awesome. Then I asked Sam for a sprint program. A sprint program and an endurance program. I just wanted a running program. I wanted like a straight running program. So we made the running program. If you guys genuinely want what I'm doing and Sam's running program, I can give it out if Sam allows me to, but like I don't want to give it away just because that's me and Sam's like running program and it was geared towards me, and I don't want people thinking that you have to do this. It's also geared towards somebody who can do different things every single day. It's not like you run 6 miles 3 days out of the 3 days straight and then you sprint for this day. It's like every day I'm doing something different, and I've trained my body to get up to that point. Then I did the sprint program, and I asked Sam, well, when do I know when to change things? Because you have me running like point something of a mile as a sprint, and then I'm like running for this mile. It was very particular for a bit. And she said, whenever you feel like you can run faster, up the speed on the treadmill. So I went from a 5 on everything. Sprinting, I think I was running a 5, and then I was sprinting like a 6 or a 7. And I'm finally up to the point where I can run straight without stopping. And it was like you can run 3 or 4 miles this day. You can run 1 or 2 miles, not even 1 or 2. I don't even do 1 or 2 miles anymore. 2 miles for one day. I do 2 miles for one day. But they were like, you can do 3 or 4 miles. You can do 5 or 6 miles. And I always add on the extra ones. It's like, oh, well, what's the highest one of the day I can do? Oh, I can do 6 miles today. Okay, I'm going to do 6 miles. Oh, this day tells me I can do 4 miles. Okay, I'm going to do 4 miles. So then when I was like, oh, I can't add any more time to it for endurance, I'm going to make it faster. So now every time I run, just running straight on the treadmill, I do a 6. A 6 straight on a mile is 10 minutes. And then I sprint at an 8 now, which the 8 is feeling slow now, which is crazy to say. But in between the sprint training, I told Sam, I just want a week where I want to see how fast I can run. Like, I want to know what my fastest mile would be. And the faithful day came, and I was so fucking proud of myself. You have to warm up. You can't just go on a treadmill and be like, I'm going to run my fastest mile and then run your first mile the fastest. You have to warm up first. So I did an easy, I think I did a 5 or 6 speed. I was like, okay, I'm going to run for 10 to 12 minutes, warm up. And then I put the treadmill at a faster pace, but still slow, because you can't, when you run, I learned this the hard way, and through many people and through Sam and through running myself and experience. You run easily up until the last couple points of the mile. Like, you don't sprint in the beginning and then run. I used to do that all the time. I used to sprint everything and then walk or run the end of it. You have to pace yourself and then sprint the last couple point whatever of it, and then ease yourself back into the last of the mile. I can thankfully say, this was months ago, by the way. I was like 20 pounds heavier at this point. I ran a 1 mile in 8 minutes, under 8 minutes and 30 seconds. So I was like 8:20 or something. And after the mile was done, I turned to myself in my head and I was like, I could have ran that faster. I could have definitely beat an 8-minute mile, which is very, I'm proud of myself. That's something amazing that most people can't say that they can do. I mean, I think the standard in America at least is like people should be able to run like a 12-minute mile. But when I finally beat it under 4 minutes, I was like, whoa. And I knew I had way more in the tank. I texted Sam. I was like, dude, you're not going to believe this. I fucking ran a mile in like 8 minutes. And I definitely had more in the tank. And now I'm like 20 pounds lighter. And I run faster than I ever did before. So I wouldn't say I could run like a 6-minute mile. That might be a little too crazy. But I think I could get like a 7-minute mile now. I would be very, very happy if I could do that. I also have endurance goals now too. I think I could run I've never ran more than, I've always ran less than 7 miles because my program has never called for more than 7 miles. I think if you ask me tomorrow, like that's another thing too. I told one of my goals to Sam was I want to be able to run a 10K any day of the week. And now when I got more of my arm done, I have tattoo done on my arm, on my shoulder, I guess. But I can't sprint when I get a new tattoo because I'm gonna rip the scars. I'm gonna break blood vessels and stuff like that. So I just run 6 miles every day when I have a new tattoo. And I did this for 2 weeks now, not straight, but I did this when I last got my tattoo done, and then this last week that just happened. This week I came back to sprint training, and then the week before this I was, running 6 miles every day. And I tell anybody now, if you were to ask me tomorrow or any day of the week to run a 10K, I could do it easily. I wouldn't be the fastest person, but I would definitely I wouldn't be tired at all. I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm ready. I could do it in 60 minutes now. Even faster, because I'm definitely faster than that. I'm going to test it tomorrow. I'm so excited about that. That's the main thing I'm excited for. But yeah, I got faster, I got better, and I lost a ton of weight from not only eating right, but like running. And that's the other thing I forgot to bring up about the food. Let's get into the third topic then. The third topic on what I did, my own opinion and what I've done. The opinion thing, caloric deficit is not an opinion-based thing. That is a fact. If you want to lose weight, calorie deficit is the way to go. But I know a ton of people. I wish I had a Q&A. I wish I had people to be like, Jimmy, what did you eat specifically? I tell this to anybody that's trying to lose weight or trying to, better themselves. In a weight loss journey, and even in a weight gain journey, you can eat what you like. You just got to be in the caloric surplus or deficit you want to be in. You just eat the food that will gain the weight or lose the weight, whatever you're trying to do. Now, I am kind of a bro science kind of guy, I'm not going to lie. Every single day, and I'm not tired of it. I will never get tired of it because I flavor food differently now. I eat rice. I eat chicken. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes it's the packaged like chicken nuggies or the barbecue chicken tenders or stuff like that. But it's in a caloric deficit that I can eat. Just to show you how much I track my food on a daily basis, one buffalo chicken strip from the company that I buy or one barbecued chicken strip that I buy from the company is 130 calories. Every single day, I can only eat 3 of those chicken strips in one meal. So, if I were to eat buffalo for lunch and then barbecue for dinner, I could only eat 6 chicken strips a day. And then on top of that, I eat 1/4 or 1/3 cup of rice. That's all I eat. I do not eat much. And then, as my snack for the end of the day, I say that's all I eat because that's my main source of food for the day. I guess technically, even though the smoothie and the bagel is probably the most caloric thing that I eat because it's just full of sugar and protein and extra carbs and stuff like that. But I would say one meal in a day, I try and keep it under 500 calories. Yeah, the biggest thing I eat in the day is a bagel and a smoothie. Every single day, I eat chicken and rice for lunch and dinner. And then for my snack at the end of the day, I always drink a banana strawberry yogurt smoothie and a cinnamon raisin bagel with 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. That is what I eat every single day. Now, the question everybody's probably wondering, Jimmy, have you had any cheat days? Technically, no. I have not had any cheat days since May 6th. Have I eaten food that is not chicken and rice and bagel and smoothie? Hell yeah, I have. The reason why I say that is because none of my food I have eaten has been over my caloric intake. So if one day I tell myself, perfect example, I went out for New Year's with a couple friends at a small gathering. It was also thanking us for taking care of their cat, but they ordered us pizza. They got Domino's pizza. I love Domino's pizza. They ordered like sausage on one side of the pizza, and they ordered like lettuce and mushroom on the other. I'm not a huge veggie fan, but the one that was the lettuce one was the flatbread one. And I told myself the flatbread one is going to be less calories. So what did I do? I told myself going into this party and this event that I was going to eat my lunch. I would go to the event. I would go to the little gathering we had together, and I would only eat 2 to 3 slices. Every single time I have been out and gotten food with friends, well, not many times. It's really been like little small get-togethers where we order pizza together, but I only eat 2 to 3 slices because I know that a slice of pizza from a pizza place, normally Domino's or Pizza Hut, is going to be close to 300 calories sometimes. Sometimes even more than that if you get toppings. I don't want to eat pizza and fill myself on pizza when I'm not going to be full on the pizza. If that made any sense. The one day for my birthday, a group that I'm in, a Pathfinder group that I'm in, they did order what are they called? Pierogies or I can't even remember what they're called. It's like the calzones. Calzones, that's what it is. We got calzones. That might have been the only day I ate maybe above my caloric intake. I maybe ate 2,100 calories. Maybe. But I did not eat that much because I knew going there that they were going to order food for me. I already knew it. But it was healthy food. It was healthy. Like I knew what I was eating. I knew what I was putting in my body. That's the difference. Some people will just be like, oh, this is healthy. I think this is healthy. I'm fine to eat this. They eat it, and then they don't know what they're putting in their body. That's why I always say track your freaking food. Track your freaking food. You'll know. And then if somebody were to be like, well, how do you know? Why do you think you're gaining all this weight? Like, what have you been eating? And if you're like, I've been tracking my food, and you open up your food log to a coach or to me or somebody, and we're trying to help you, and we see that half your things are smudged, then that's why on so many TV shows and so many like weight loss things where people go, oh, I don't know why I'm losing weight. Like I have been following the diet. They've been fucking lying. Like when they put in, yeah, I only had 2 slices of pizza and I had rice and a piece of chicken, and that was all I ate that day. It's like, well, are you sure you didn't eat anything else? And then you find out, well, I actually had like 2 pieces of chocolate cake at this birthday party that I was at, and I forgot that I had a Shirley Temple at the bar. And it's like, you got to track what you're putting down. That's another thing too. I went to my first adult wedding. One of my best friends just got married in 2020, and I was scared to go to the wedding because I was like, they have a buffet. I don't know what the food caloric intake's going to be. Like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be putting in my body. And, I went in there, I took it slow, and I didn't have to weigh out my food, which I normally do sometimes. But I just looked at the food. I went, okay, I can eat this, and I can eat this, and I can have this many drinks because I know the company. I can search it. The other thing is, too, I tell a lot of people, your phone is your best friend for certain things, not for everything. But you should be able to go online and search like, you should be able to look at something and be like, that kind of looks like half an ounce of something after you've been tracking for a while. I would not recommend going to something and guessing the weight of something. If you're like, I think this is 2 ounces of chicken breast, you're probably going to be wrong if you're just starting this. That's another thing I used to do too. During the summer, people would have barbecues, and my family was cooking patties, and I had to find out the weight of a burger patty to eat. Like, and I wasn't allowed to eat the bread because the burger patty, I wanted as much protein as I could get in. That's a whole nother subject about macros. I kind of track macros. Macros are just the 3 main things that your body needs: proteins, carbs, and fats. And then there's micros like vegetables and all that types of stuff. But they normally say you should get every gram that you want in healthy weight. Like, if I wanted to be 180 pounds, I would eat 180 grams of protein, essentially. I'm trying to think if there's any more questions that people would think of. And I don't know if you can hear my knuckles hitting together this entire time. I've been doing that a few times. So some main points as I'm getting into this last hour of talking. You need to be ready. You need to have the people around you to be ready. You need to eat the things that you need to eat. You need to track the things that you need to eat. You need to know what's going into your body, and you need to know what you're doing with your body. You need to have some form of plan, because if you're not structured, it's not going to work out. I'm just going to put that point blank. I do not think if I did not structure myself like this, there have been plenty of times before I tried to do a weight loss journey and I was like, I'm going to eat rice and chicken every single day. And it's like, oh, that's the other thing. This is another main thing, that I am a fucking picky eater. That's why I decided if I want to eat my weight in chicken nuggies every single day, that's what I do. Like, if somebody were to be like, well, you're not going to lose weight on Big Macs, you could eat a Big Mac every single day and still lose weight. It just matters how much of the caloric deficit your caloric intake you're putting into that day versus how much you're burning throughout the day, essentially. And just to put this into perspective too, most people don't know this, but just you living and breathing, you're burning calories. Just you sleeping is burning calories. So if you're scared that you're not eating enough or you're eating too less, just remember your body does know best sometimes. Now, don't wimp out and be like, after the first day of being on a lifestyle or a diet, just being like, I'm super hungry, I'm gonna eat this cookie. Like, if you're hungry, eat some celery. Like, it's plain and simple. Don't make it something that needs to be this extravagant. That's what people do. They binge, or they like think they need this like super awesome thing. It's like, you can eat more, just don't eat caloric dense foods. Eat celery, eat a scoop of peanut butter, like eat some fruit. Like, sugar-based things are okay for you. Like, then the myths of, oh my God, when people go, well, you shouldn't eat fats or carbs. These carbs make you fat and fat gives you fat. That's not true. Really not true. You need to do this for yourself. You need to be ready. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I could go into, if people, that's the last thing I'll leave this on, with the last 6 minutes of this podcast, or probably less, because I don't want to talk for another 6 minutes. Oh, I could talk for another 6 minutes, but I don't want to say more things and then be on a tangent and then be over my time, because I only want these episodes to be like an hour-ish. I forget where I was going now. Holy crap, man. I really don't want to edit this, but I have to edit one point. I forgot where it was now, but I have to edit some point of this. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. The one thing I definitely wanted to say at the end of this podcast, I am way better than I've ever been in my life. Just putting that out there. There are some other issues that I'm dealing with right now, but do not worry about me like that, because where I'm at now is way better than I've ever been before. That's what I wanted to put just out there, because I feel like a few of my close friends that watch these videos are going to be like, even people that don't know me are going to be a little concerned when I brought up the whole like mental stability of myself. Like, I'm in a way better point. Also, don't be afraid to reach out. If no one else, I will be there for you. I know that's a hard burden to say, and I know it's a big thing to say. It's like, Jimmy, you barely know me. I'm a random person watching this video. I am here for you. I know how it feels to go through this and to technically be alone. I didn't tell a lot of my friends this because I was nervous. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to go through all this and tell nobody or tell everybody and then it be a flop again, you know. You should do it for yourself. You should take pictures of yourself every day, take videos of yourself every day. If you have comments or questions, please let me know, because I know there's a ton of facts and things I went through in this video and things that worked for me that might not work for other people. The other thing is, you do not need to run to lose weight. Let me say that again. You do not need to run to lose weight. You do the thing that makes you happy and will burn the most calories, that you have fun doing. If you like dancing, go dance. If you like playing the drums like I do, play drums and lose weight or gain weight, etc. If you want to lift weights, if you want to do sumo wrestling or gymnastics to lose weight, that's what you should do. Don't feel like you have to be like, oh, well, runners have the fittest body and such like that. I just fell in love with running, and running saved my life that I wanted to continue to do it. I set a goal for myself, and now I enjoy running, etc. So as always, my name is James Joseph Edward Jessberger Jr., but please call me Jimmy for short, and I'll always see you guys in the next one. Peace. With 3 minutes to spare. That was good. I hope I helped some people.